Hi, my loves. Welcome back. John Bolton got raided by the FBI on Friday, and the questions everyone asking are the same. What forces are behind this? What did they actually find? And how does this change the entire political game? Spirit has answers that go way deeper than the official story. But remember, this reading is for entertainment purposes and spiritual insight only. Everything stated is alleged. Please make sure you use your intuition. Only take what resonates with your heart and lovingly leave what doesn't. If you would like a personal pendulum or tarot reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop with pure love and spirit led guidance. The link will be in the video description and in the pinned comment. Every message flows from divine source with infinite compassion. Now let's see what Spirit reveals about this political bombshell. The first question we asked is, who is really behind this FBI raid on Bolton, and what deeper forces orchestrated this timing? The first card we received is the Seven of Wands reversed. Spirit says that the forces behind this raid are people who've been steadily losing battles to Bolton's network for years, and they're finally done playing defense. Seven of Wands reverse shows this isn't coming from a position of strength, it's coming from desperation. Powerful people who've been getting outmaneuvered by Bolton's schemes have decided to go nuclear because their subtle approaches weren't working. These aren't top tier puppet masters pulling strings from the shadows. These are mid level power players who got tired of being outsmarted and decided to use brute force instead of strategy. Spirit reveals that Bolton pissed off the wrong people by thinking he was untouchable, and now they're using every resource they have to take him down before he can damage them further. We then receive the Nine of Swords upright. The people orchestrating this are operating from pure fear and paranoia. Nine of Swords energy shows someone losing sleep over what Bolton knows, what he might reveal, and what damage he could do if he decides to flip on everyone. Spirit says this raid happened because powerful people are having literal nightmares about Bolton opening his mouth. Here's what Spirit wants you to understand. This isn't calculated political strategy. This is panic-driven decision-making from people who know that they are royally screwed if Bolton starts talking. The timing wasn't chosen for maximum political impact. It was chosen because someone's anxiety finally hit a breaking point and they couldn't wait any longer. We then received the Six of Wands upright. But here's the twist. Spirit shows that whoever orchestrated this raid is also planning to use it as a public relations victory. Six of Wands energy means that they're going to parade this around as proof that they're tough on corruption and that nobody gets special treatment, even former national security advisors. The deeper forces behind this want the optics of taking down a big name, regardless of whether the actual evidence justifies the drama. Spirit reveals that this raid serves a dual purpose, silencing someone who knows too much, while also creating a spectacle that makes the orchestrators look powerful and just. We then receive the Seven of Cups reversed. Spirit says that the people behind this finally stopped playing games and got realistic about what it takes to neutralize Bolton. Seven of Cups reversed means that they're done with elaborate schemes and fantasy solutions. They went straight for the nuclear option because nothing else was working. The reversed energy shows that they've cut through their own illusions about being able to handle Bolton quietly or diplomatically. Someone made the call that public exposure and legal consequences were better than letting him continue to operate in the shadows, where he had more power to damage them. We then asked, what did the FBI actually find in Bolton's home and office that they're not telling the public? The first card we received is the Moon upright. Spirit says that they found evidence that nothing about Bolton's public persona was real. The Moon reveals documents and communications that show he was playing every side against each other, all while pretending to be a principled conservative. We're talking about proof that his entire political identity was performance art, while he was actually serving completely different masters. The moon energy means they discovered the gap between what Bolton said publicly and what he was doing privately was so massive that it reveals decades of calculated deception. Spirit shows communications where he's literally laughing about fooling his own supporters while making deals that directly contradict everything he claimed to believe. We then received the Knight of Swords upright. They found evidence of Bolton taking aggressive and unauthorized actions that went far beyond his official authority. Knight of Swords energy shows communications and documents that prove that he was making deals, promises, and threats without any legal backing or official approval from the administrations he served. Spirit reveals they discovered proof that Bolton was essentially running his own foreign policy operation parallel to the U.S. government policy. This isn't about classified documents accidentally ending up in the wrong place. This is about someone who deliberately bypassed official channels to pursue his own agenda. We then received the Eight of Pentacles upright. The FBI found evidence that Bolton had perfected the art of political corruption over decades. Eight of Pentacle energy shows meticulous records of a sophisticated criminal enterprise. Detailed documentation of bribes, kickbacks, influence peddling, and unauthorized deals that prove this was an amateur hour. Spirit says they discovered that Bolton treated corruption like a craft he was constantly improving. Financial records, communication logs, and meeting notes that show someone who took pride in how skillfully he could manipulate systems and people for personal gain. This level of detailed evidence is going to make prosecution extremely straightforward. We then received the Tower reversed. They found evidence that Bolton has been desperately trying to prevent his entire network from collapsing, and his efforts to avoid catastrophic exposure actually created more evidence of wrongdoing. The Tower reverse shows someone trying to manage multiple crises at one time while the foundation crumbles beneath them. The FBI discovered communications where Bolton is basically trying to hold together a house of cards by making increasingly desperate deals and threats. Spirit reveals that they found proof that he knew his schemes were falling apart and he was trying to take other people down with him if he couldn't save himself. The next card was Death upright. The evidence they found proves that Bolton's entire political identity and career are over. Death energy shows that they discovered information that completely transform how everyone will see him, not as a principled hawk, but as a corrupt operator who betrayed every principle he claimed to hold. Spirit says this isn't just career damaging, this is total identity death. The evidence is so damning that there's no coming back from it, no rehabilitation possible, and no way to spin it as political persecution. What they found ends the John Bolton chapter of American politics permanently. Remember, everything stated is alleged. The next question we asked was, what is the real reason the investigation was opened now, and what triggered this specific moment? The first card we received is the Queen of Wands upright. Spirit reveals that a powerful woman made the final call to move forward with this raid, and she did it because she was tired of watching Bolton operate with impunity. Queen of Wand energy shows someone with real authority who decided enough was enough and pulled the trigger on the investigation. This is not a committee decision or bureaucratic process. This is one specific woman using her influence to finally hold Bolton accountable. Spirit says that she's been watching his activities for months, building a case and waiting for the right moment to strike. Her passion for justice overrode any political calculations about timing for optics. We then received Two of Cups upright. The investigation was opened because two powerful factions finally agreed to work together against Bolton. Two of Cups shows an alliance between groups that normally don't cooperate, but Bolton's activities threatened both of their interests enough to unite them. Spirit reveals this partnership brought together resources and information that neither group could have accessed alone. One side had the evidence, the other side had the legal authority, and they decided to combine forces to take Bolton down. This alliance is what made the raid possible and explains the timing. We then received the Queen of Swords upright. Someone with serious intellectual authority reviewed Bolton's activities and made a clear-eyed decision that he needed to be stopped. Queen of Swords energy shows this trigger came from someone who cut through all the political noise and focused purely on the evidence and the law. Spirit says that this person has been watching Bolton for years, documenting his activities and building an airtight case. When they finally decided to move, it was because they had everything they needed to guarantee success. This isn't emotional reaction. This is calculated justice from someone who never acts without being absolutely certain. We then received the Hierophant upright. The real trigger was institutional leaders deciding that Bolton's activities threatened the integrity of the entire system. Hierophant energy shows that this came from people who represent traditional authority structures, intelligence agencies, military leaderships, career government officials who believe in institutional stability. Spirit reveals that Bolton crossed a line that threatened not just political opponents, but the functioning of government institutions themselves. The people who triggered this investigation are not partisan players. They're institutional guardians who decided that Bolton had become a threat to the system they've devoted their lives to protecting. And the last question that I asked was, what is the likely outcome of this investigation for Bolton, and how will it impact the bigger political chess game? The first card we received is the World upright. Spirit says this investigation completes a cycle that's been building for years. The World upright shows Bolton's story reaching a natural conclusion, not just legal consequences, but the end of an entire era of his type of political operation. This marks the completion of accountability that's been a long time coming. For the bigger political chess game, the World means this closes a chapter and opens space for something completely new. Bolton represented a specific style of political manipulation that's about to be extinct. His downfall signals the end of that approach and the beginning of a different way of operating in political circles. We then received the King of Pentacles upright. The outcome for Bolton includes serious financial and material consequences. King of Pentacles energy shows he's going to lose access to the money, property, and the resources that he's accumulated throughout his corrupted activities. This isn't just about criminal charges. This is about asset loss and financial ruin. For the political chess game, this sends a message that there are real material consequences for political corruption. Spirit says other players are watching this outcome and recalculating their own risk tolerance. The King of Pentacles shows that money and resources can be taken away just as easily as they were gained illegally. We then received the Page of Wands upright. Bolton's downfall opened space for new political energy to emerge. Page of Wands shows fresh faces and different approaches getting opportunities that were previously blocked by his network's influence. This investigation clears out old, corrupt energy and makes room for something more authentic. Spirit reveals that younger, more principled political operators are about to step into positions that Bolton's network previously controlled. The Page of Wands brings enthusiasm and integrity to replace the cynical manipulation that characterized Bolton's approach to politics. And the last card we received is the King of Wands upright. The bigger political chess game undergoes a major leadership shift as a result of this investigation. The King of Wand energy shows someone stepping into the power vacuum left by Bolton's removal, and this person brings a completely different energy, confident, visionary, but actually legitimate. Spirit says Bolton's downfall doesn't just remove one corrupt player, it demonstrates that a new type of leadership is taking control of the game. Someone with real authority and genuine vision who will use Bolton's destruction to send a message about what happens to political operatives who abuse their power. The chess game itself is being transformed by players who actually know how to lead. Spirit leaves us with this final message. When you threaten the system that powerful people have devoted their lives protecting, your own corruption becomes the weapon they use to destroy you. Thank you so much for watching, love. Spirit delivered some intense revelations about what's really happening behind this raid. The deeper connections and institutional forces at play are way more complex than the mainstream media narrative suggests. Please share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. What resonated with you about these revelations? If you have any questions, make sure you leave those too. I'll add them to my master list and include them in a future video. Remember, this was a collective reading for spiritual insight and entertainment purposes only. Everything shared is spirit-led and alleged. Remember, timelines and energy are fluid. Free will is always at play, and energy shifts constantly. Make sure that you always trust your intuition. Only take what resonates with your inner knowing and lovingly release the rest. I'm just a vessel that Spirit uses to bring these messages forward. I have zero control over the people, the dates, times, or the events. Everything flows through divine guidance. If you're interested in getting a personal pendulum or tarot reading from me, the link to my Etsy shop will be located in the pinned comment and in the video description. Every reading is channeled with pure love and divine guidance. Make sure that you're subscribed if you haven't already and turn on the notifications. Political revelations are accelerating rapidly. More explosive insights are coming, and we're here to witness the truth unfold in real time. I love you and I appreciate you. I will check in with you later with more channeled messages.